Sravasti Abbey is connected with an organization called the Faith Action Network, which is an organization in Washington State that is a network of faith communities with 3 points: that believes justice work is part of our religious calling, communicates with elected officials about critical social issues, and advocates for a more just and sustainable world. So most of the action of this group is on the west side of the state, where the big population centers are, and also where the state government is situated. So we haven't been actively working as advocates with them, but we're on their e-news network, and they put out just the other day a request for faith communities around the state to really support and celebrate the beginning of Ramadan as a support for our Muslim brothers and sisters in faith. And so we thought that we would also, of course, want to do that. They said, at a time when anti-Muslim rhetoric and action is on the rise in our nation, there have been many important dialogues across our state to build interfaith understanding, and every expression of love and care for our Muslim friends is important. So just to point that out, I was looking for the contact information for our local Islam Center of Spokane. So when I clicked on the address to see how to direct people to them, the first thing on their Facebook page is a comment from a man saying, "Islam is the religion of Satan. You people want to destroy our country, go home." So it is very important that those who care to open our hearts to understand a little bit more about what this religion is about, and to support our Muslim friends during this most holy of holy months. It's really important, I think, for us to understand ourselves and to generate that kind of support, so that we are contributing actively to overcoming the energy of hate in our country and on our airwaves, right? So Ramadan is the most sacred month of the year. It is reportedly said that the Prophet Muhammad said, when the month of Ramadan starts, the gates of heaven are opened, the gates of hell are closed, and the devils are chained. So it's a time really of great purification in this practice. So it is believed that during this month, Muhammad received the first verses of the Quran from God. So that was the month of revelation. And so that's celebrated during this time where Muslims fast every day from sunrise to sunset. So it's not just that they don't eat food, they also do not drink. No smoking, no caffeine. They are also refraining from ignorance, anger, attachment, greed, jealousy. It's a time when Muslims go to an internal place. It's kind of like a personal retreat in a way, and really reflect on fasting from the negative emotions in their minds. Now, what does that remind you of? Yeah, it's just like a retreat from a Buddhist perspective, right? We go inside to refrain, to restrain ourselves, to be in retreat from our own negative emotions. So our Muslim friends are doing this, the whole Muslim nation, once a year for an entire month. That is a pretty remarkable thing to notice, I think. It is meant to be a time of spiritual discipline, of deep contemplation of your relationship with God, extra prayer, increased charity and generosity, and intense study of the Quran. So the point of this fasting is to remind people of the suffering of the less fortunate, for one thing, and to help cultivate compassion. So that one of the pillars of Islam is to practice generosity, so that during this time when you experience hunger, you experience thirst, you have this sense of deprivation, it cultivates the compassion that makes you wish to be more generous to those who don't have enough. It is a time to detach from worldly pleasures and focus on one's inner self. So it's a physical and a spiritual purification. So of course, there are guidelines around people who don't have to participate in this, young children, the very elderly, certain kinds of illnesses, if you're pregnant, those kinds of situations, you get an exemption in some way. I don't know really how that works. But it's a time for everyone to go into this kind of retreat. It's really quite beautiful. So they say happy Ramadan is not offensive. It's okay to say that. And that's what we put out in our e-news. If we really wanted to learn a little bit more about our Muslim friends, might do the standard Ramadan greeting, Ramadan Kareem, which means have a generous Ramadan, or Ramadan Mubarak, which means have a blessed Ramadan. So we can practice this. The whole holy month ends with a big feast called the Eid, E-I-D. It has a longer name, but this is how they refer to it. And many mosques, I think, are opening their doors at the end of this Ramadan. I know our local one is, to do an interfaith kind of Eid celebration to help bring in the communities to integrate the practice of Islam in with a larger community. So people are welcome to join that. So wherever you are, take a look at where your nearest mosque is meeting and if they are doing an open celebration in that way. We will look and see. I know that the one in Spokane here, I don't know how the dates coincide with us, but it would be very, very nice to be there and to help celebrate and to, His Holiness the Dalai Lama's, one of his 3 main focuses in life right now is, for the rest of his life, is to bring together the religions of the world, that the spiritual peoples, even the people who don't affiliate with a particular religion, but particularly those who are religious, our shared values are so much more than the things that are different. And the commitment to compassion, to developing love, to reaching out and serving the people around us everywhere, those are the very things that will make our world survive. We're at the place now where if we let the things that seem to superficially divide us continue to separate us in the way that we do, it's really possible we won't survive. And so His Holiness's work, and therefore our work here at the Abbey, and then the work of everyone who has a humanistic heart and cares about living beings around the world, is to reach out to one another. And particularly with the rhetoric against the Muslim community right now, it's so important to help educate ourselves and each other, to recognize our interdependence, and to be of greatest benefit to all. So, happy Ramadan is the best I can do without looking at the paper. Ramadan Kareem and Ramadan Mubarak.